Hi, everyone, and thank you for being with us today. So it is a quick demo, but we're going to turn around as to the business case is to develop your data warehouse solution faster and with less effort using data warehouse automation tool, which is Datavault Builder that we're presenting today. So the speakers is me, Sylvain. I'm a Syntell employee. We're located in Canada, in Quebec City, to be more precise. I'm a BI solution architect. I'm a senior. I have more than 30 years of experience building data warehouses, solutions, and analytical solutions. And on the other hand, we have Datavault Builder CEO, which is Peter Bales. So if you want to maybe take a few minutes to present yourself, Peter, please.
Hello, my name is Peter Belles. I'm here to support one of our implementation partners that is helping us to install Datavault Builder in the US and Canadian market. And I'm very happy that Syntell has taken here the opportunity to present what they're doing and what they're doing with the Datavault Builder, because they can show you really how to bring the Datavault Builder into your company, how to make use of it, how to become agile in your data warehouse projects.
All right, so let's get started. I'm sorry, my voice is a bit cracky. I just come back from a cold, so don't mind me or my voice. It's still a bit healing today. So the webinar content will go through the Syntell and Datavault Builder partnership. We're going to talk a bit about the Syntell's offer, and then we're going to go through the Datavault Builder, the enterprise, and what is Datavault Builder, and a solution using Datavault Builder. What does it look like? The benefits of using Datavault Builder. There are some other resources, but maybe we can skip this if time does not allow us. And to go through the demo, of course, which is why you are present with us today. And to finalize our discussion, that will be a success story that Datavault Builder shares with us. And there's going to be a question period at the very end, but we invite you maybe to use the chat window to ask questions as we go along. And if we don't have the answer or the material will be covered a little later in the presentation, we'll let you know that the questions will be answered a little later in the presentation. So let's get started. So the Syntell and Datavault Builder partnership. Why did Syntell went ahead with Datavault Builder partnership about Quebec? Syntell is a Quebec leader in data mining and data analytics that's been created about 35 years ago. Syntell has to date carried more than 350 projects for organizations of all sizes in different sectors of industry, like banking, insurances, distribution, and so on. Our partnership with Datavault Builder allows us to build new data warehouse solutions or scale existing solutions faster and with less effort. And this is the purpose of our demonstration today. And we support organizations of all stages and for all facets of their data enhancements projects. I'm sorry about my English at times. I sometimes baffle. What are the advantages of data warehouse automations? In order to execute a sequence of operations that are required with maximum efficiency, it is imperative to rely on clearly defined and enforced data integration practices, which Datavault Builder offers us, sorry. And in this use case, while the main benefits of a well thought out data integration approach helps us improves and unifies the data, helps us save a lot of time and reduce the errors that might be introduced in coding, and it increases the business value of the data. So that gives us more time to spend on the actual data analysis that the business requires. So don't mind me if I'm going quickly over some slides. A presentation will be sent to you right after the conference. Syntell's offer on the market. Syntell combines best practices, best technologies, and expertise in order to deliver the data warehouses solution as per customer expectations. So Syntell's expertise combined with Datavault Builders as a tool, productivity in order to set up your data ecosystem. So Syntell provides the expertise, whether it's business analyst, data analysis, architecture, design, development, deployment, and operations, operation model, we mean. And Datavault Builder helps us at the productivity level as a toolbox to be able to deliver and automate the coding portion, because Datavault Builder generates code, but also manages the codes. This is the purpose of our demonstration today. So then after, when the data warehouse solutions and the data mart are being built, well, we can exploit or use reporting tools such as or analysis tools like Power BI, ClickView, or Tableau, or any other reporting tool that you have in your organization to make use of the information or the data ecosystem. Syntell offers different solution construct or different options if you want. It helps complete your team with the right profiles in terms of data analytics or data architects if you want. It helps also the organization get the expertise your team need when you require it. It's strategic or technical support, whether they are like at a given moment in time. So let's say you don't have the sufficient resources or sufficient technical skills internally in your organization, you can provide expertise on a per case situation. We also have turnkey solutions, which are accelerators to your data projects by entrusting them to us. So like we meet with the organizations and the business users as to what they're trying to do in terms of data analysis and provide the solutions as a turnkey solution being delivered to you with knowledge transfer and expertise. Datavault Builder as an enterprise. Datavault Builder, as you probably know, is a corporation that's based in Switzerland. It's got an international presence in Europe, in North America, here in Canada, in the United States, and also in Australia and New Zealand. And there are also a bit of a presence in South America. Today, there's about 130 employees for Datavault Builder, and it has been founded in 2005. Sorry, I'm baffling a bit. The BARC analysis states that these are the prices, if you may, that Datavault Builder, or the recognition on the market that Datavault Builder has gained over the years. So it's been top ranked, like the 5 leading solution in terms of product with data warehouse automation. It delivers price to value, so like there's a win-win situation here. And it also reduces the time to market. It's been recommended for peer group in data warehouse automation. The customer satisfaction is really one of the best on the market. The usability, as you will see in the demonstration part, is a tool that's really easy to use. It's innovative solution, and quality support, or the support quality of the team really helps an organization. And with the partnership that we develop with Datavault Builder, we can assure you that there's a great support team. No answers lie not answered. What is Datavault Builder? Datavault Builder is a model-driven data warehouse automation tool. By data warehouse automation, I mean, it helps user focus on the business concepts and all of the technical aspects of transforming data, getting the data, transforming it, and putting it in an analytical environment. That's where Datavault Builder comes along. So it brings business users and IT together, which makes a good hand-in-hand situation. And obviously, they'll reduce your time to market because you're focusing on the data itself. So that's really one tool that any organization should think of having. When we're talking about automation from source system to the access layer, what do we mean by this? So Datavault Builder allows to connect to your source system, whether they are service requests, integration, flat file, direct database sourcing. It stages the data. Then with the modeling aspects built in the product, we are modeling what the business concepts are in order to produce normalized views like dimensional views, normal form or flat tables using business logic. So the business logic is being applied to be able to produce data marks or error marks that are being used by the your reporting solution or reporting engine then after. What does a Datavault Builder solution look like? Automation is a change in the way of developing data warehouses in the market for the last, let's say, 5 years or maybe 10 years. So Datavault Builder is a key player here that allows us to deliver faster. So Datavault Builder has been one of the organizations that took a lead in this particular market. So this is what this slide aims to talk about. So it offers us the ability to concentrate or put the focus on the right thing, which is the data itself and all the technical aspects of the data integration are being managed by the tool. Datavault Builder in a nutshell, here are the some of the key statements that we could remember from the Datavault Builder. It is an automation tool designed for Datavault-style data warehouses, as the name suggests. And the platform makes it possible to manage a complete development cycle of a data warehouse from the data modeling perspective, conceptual, logical, and physical. The data models, so well, I just said that. The data acquisition processing from sources to the data warehouse, including business roles. Data transformations, it also integrates with your source version control, which integrates with Git, for those of you who know what Git is. The deployment of the data model and processing. So this is not part of the demo today, but there's a deployment capability in the tool that allows us to do some differential and only publish what new models or new data integration to the production platform, let's say. It also manages the data access layer and the error mark or exception reports, if you want. And it also has a console that allows to control the refresh cycles of the data sources onto the data warehouse itself. Most of the tools that are managing or generating codes today are generating a model and generating code, but there are very few in the market tools that are covering the full data warehouse life cycle. With Datavault Builder, it goes from the infrastructure, the modeling aspects of it, it generates code, it allows you to automate testing, the deployment, and have automatic deployment being managed by the tool, as well as the operation, in order to be on a high availability platform. So as I said a little earlier today, this presentation will be sent out to you. So don't worry if you didn't have time to read that. I just want to travel across that presentation to be able to focus a little more on the demonstration. That will be somewhere down the line in about 5 to 10 minutes. A Datavault Builder solution can easily perform the following task, and it's another visual here. So it can model the data, connect directly to the source, control the refreshing cycle and job executions, construct data marks and dimensions, and construct reporting views that are used in the access layer or the consumption zone, as some of you might understand it. can also construct error marks for reporting views. Like, let's say you have a customer that doesn't have a customer number or something like that. You could build a view that shows you the data with the error that you want to be highlighted. It can calculate metrics, and these metrics can later on be reintroduced in Datavault, in the data warehouse itself. So it's be able to keep the histories of all the metrics that you have calculated into your data mart. It can incrementally add information to the data warehouse as the business requirements are known. So I've been working a lot of in large corporations that are, putting up the enterprise data model, which quite a challenge at times because you want to focus and you don't want to miss a few elements. But here, using Datavault Builder solution, what it allows you to do is it allows you to build incrementally. Let's say you have a customer, the customer number and the customer name. Later on, you would add some other stuff. There's no problem using such a tool because it builds in an incremental fashion. So the developers and architects will have more time to focus on the business values themselves and business requirements. Datavault Builder's benefits. So using an automation tool or Datavault Builder actually increases productivity of the data warehouse team. It can save up to 90% of the time, and the purpose of the demo, you'll see how fast things can be deployed or managed using the tool. So it allows us to save on repetitive tasks, such as creating and testing type 2 dimension versus manual ETL programming. So the 90% time saving here is comparing, like if I build it manually using some of the tools. So similarly, if we want to put side by side the time savings and the performance issues. Here in Pantahole, let's say we're building one dimension, it may execute using a Pantahole 180 seconds, but using Datavault Builder, the same unit will take about 15 seconds to execute. So this is quite an acceleration in the productivity for both employees and at the performance level of the tool. One of the key things also is to increase the time to market. The classical approach requires many interventions when deploying or building a data warehouse. As to the classical approach focuses on the modeling, so we have to push the modeling, so there's a human intervention to deploy, or even though they might be automated like a DevOps type of thing, in order to push the changes to the database. Using Datavault Builder, what happens is Datavault Builder is directly connected to the data warehouse databases, and all changes applied to the database are being fed back into Datavault Builder, so which allows to remove the middleman. So remove the middleman is the repository and all of the unnecessary steps required in order to properly manage your data warehouse environment. Another key things here is using a data warehouse automation tool or using Datavault Builder. It allows any organization to attract and retain staff. I don't know how the market in Europe is, but there's a shortage of staff or knowledgeable people that are able to build data warehouses. Here in North America, this is quite obvious today. And what it does help is it helps any organization increase the presence and visibility, become a human-centric organization. It can drive cultural changes in order to seek talent diversity. And in terms of the human aspects of it, it raises the literacy within an organization, focusing on the information itself. Then it also helps in reskill or upskill your employees. It's a very good development path for a career, and brings out a team balance and employee visibility in terms of competitiveness, right? And here at the gear level, it takes care of the automation process, the repetitive tasks that we talked about earlier. So by automating simple repetitive tasks, by making code out of people, so people have more time to spend on the business values itself. Why companies choose Datavault Builder as a partner or as a tool? Datavault Builder works out of the box. There are no additional modules that you have to buy when you start using Datavault Builder. All the capabilities of the tool are available to you. It focuses on the modeling, so which is a great aspect because it's at the conceptual level, logical and physical level, depending on what your level of knowledge is, the people will be able to grasp the business concepts. It's a highly maintainable tool, so there's no problem with that. The know-how or the knowledge that you gather here is more focused on the business. So you take advantage of a tool that gets maybe the, I would say the annoying part, but I don't want to use the word annoying, but repetitive tasks that don't bring business values at all. And it automates the integration, and it's a highly scalable architecture. Other Datavault Builder benefits. It integrates the modeling, data ingestion, and delivery. This is somewhat a repetitive statement, but it's another visual if you want. Through reviews that match the business requirements or business needs. It allows you to focus on data analysis that brings real business value and not on the technicalities of data acquisition, data manipulation, or business rules that may take some while to grasp or to control. It allows you to inject calculations performed on the data into the data warehouse, in order to keep histories of the calculated fields. Let's say you are calculating a credit score for your customers. Well, that credit score history, if it's being calculated into the tool, you can keep track of all the calculation refreshes that have occurred over time. The data warehouse can be on premise or in the cloud. So Datavault Builder integrates with Snowflake quite easily, integrates with Azure SQL databases, Azure Synapse, and some other technologies. In terms of opportunities for Syntell, this is the process that Syntell goes through. So it can go either to review or implement an information solution like data warehousing solutions, or it can also help in reviewing, implementing an operation model. We will not spend that much time on that particular slide, but what happens is we're doing a maturity assessment at the information level, and we establish targets and a roadmap in order to be able to go on either track or both tracks. Syntell also offers a variety of personal training, so focusing on data warehousing modeling, so dimensional modeling, data model architecture, also have Datavault 2.0 introduction, and also like a dashboard in a day, constructing appealing dashboards, enhance your data model in Power BI using DAX. And also there's a data visualization and storytelling. So how to make data visual, appealing to the user, and have good information being presented as a storytelling. Could also file in for DAX with Power BI. There's advanced courses on that particular topic. There's also telemetry training that we can provide, and we're providing our trainings. They're bilingual, so we can do it a track in English or a track in French. There's no problem with that. And we are right now at a demo. So I'm just gonna pop up my environment screen. Our use case scenario here is you're seeing my my screen now. I'm at the Datavault levels. So like I've been saying, you could see that there's a concept named client and concept named user. And the client is being managed by a user. These are test data here at Syntell. So don't mind that. So what we'll be doing, we'll add the projects. So we're building projects for different customers. So starting off, we're going to be staging the data. So I'm just going to connect. So there's a TFS, which is DevOps, which is an internal Microsoft application that we have deployed here. So I'm just going to say, okay, connect to my source. And I want to go and pull from this particular environment. I'll go and get my project data. So as you can see, it talks to the database in the background and brings me the catalog of that particular table. So what I'll say is that I want all of the attributes of this particular table to being pulled into the staging area. And if I want to rename some items here, the work item, I could say it's the project ID. I can always rename here. As you can see, it's quite easy to do. And once it's I've defined or redefined the staging table. If you want, what I can do is I could look at the detail. It's telling me, okay, here's the staging table name, and it's going to be loading a batch of 50,000. I can custom size that to 5,000 or any other number that I want to be able to do things in a more performant way. I can specify here the delta load. Let's say I have this table, I only want to go and get the last day's refresh. I could say search a date equals today. I'm just going to review that. I'm going to load the table immediately, and it's going to be available to me in the source options. So now what Datavault Builder does is it creates a table in the staging area and goes and get the data to be able to populate it. And then I'll be able to use it in the modeling aspects of that. So here, I can click on here and see what the data looks like. See, there's these are test data, like I said a little earlier. So I can navigate on here, put filters. I want to say, let's say forfaitaire. There, so it filters right away using this particular thing here. So now I'm ready to add into my vault my new project. So what I'll do is I'll simply add a new hub here, which is going to be project, as in set it as a new hub name, and a new subject area that I'll call project as well. So I want to add this without any digital load. So I just want to add it to my visual in the background. So here, this is my project. The next step will be to say, okay, what is my business key of this particular new concept that I created? So I'm just going to add a hub load from TFS. I'm going to select a new table that I pulled out and see the project ID, which is my work item ID from my source system. I'm just going to double check if it's unique here. It tells me by turning green that this key here is unique, so which makes it as a hub, the uniqueness of a hub. So I'm quite satisfied with this. I'm just going to create this, and my new hub here contains. I'm just going to refresh the data here. It tells me it's gray. Maybe you don't see it as obvious as I do. I'm just going to refresh my hub. See how easy it is. So by looking at and navigating, what I can do is I can navigate here or any other table or concepts, and I can view using the magnifier glass here, the data that's populated. So here is my hub's data. Now what I want to do is I want to add, I only have the key, so the project ID. What I want to do is add a satellite or any other information that are pertaining to the project. So let's say project info. And the columns from that table that I pulled out, I'll go and say, okay, I want the title there. I want maybe the status, the state, and the state change date. We'll leave it at that. So all of the remaining fields are staying in the staging area, but I'm only interested in those few fields. What I'll do is I'll say, okay, review and create the satellite. So here I got my satellite data that I can, use later on. I'll refresh this. Here it's turn screen, so I'm able to view the data itself. So here's the title of my project, but I would like to change the title though. So I'm able to go and change. Say here, I want to change a column name and I'm happy with the title. I can tell it, okay, I want this to be the project name. And the state change date, I want this to be the, I'll use French words, date du dernier changement. And here I will call it status. By doing that, and when I look at it, it takes a little while, so there's going to be attribute name changes. So here, it gives me the same column name, the old column name. It takes a little while to get updated, but you'll see it when I do that a little later. Now what I want to do is I want to do a dimension based off that new Datavault structure that I created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to create a new business objects. The starting hub will be my project, the new concept that I just created from the hub system, and the start data set will be the hub project. I can create a type 2 dimension or a type 1 dimension. For the purpose of this to be simple, I'm just going to use it as a type 1, which is the most recent version. So now I got my project. Here I can tell it, it's the business key for my project. I can always rename that column, say project number. Project number, enter. So that's going to be the column name. I navigate to the satellite that I created using the Datavault modeling tool. I want to add the project name, the status of the projects, and here we go. If there are more attributes or other satellites, I can always go and navigate to the other satellite and go and pick them up, and it's going to work just fine. So now I can see the data itself, my project number, the project name, and the status of my project. There I go. So looking at the business rule here, there's a new topic that came along, which is project. And what you can see here is the SQL for that particular object that's been created at the database level. And I'll show you at the database level what has happened. So there's got a business rule here that's been created. And if I do select top from there, see, it's select project, project name, project status, which exactly gives me this, which makes it quite easy on us to develop, test, having the user next to us to be able to do as per user requirements. So this accelerates a lot of work and not lots of tedious work in the background, as you could see. I want this to be part of my access layer. I only have a click to do here, include in access layer, and I'm going to do save. And at the database level, when I go and look at my views, access layer client, access layer project, oh, there it is. And if I do select on that one here, you see that it's the same thing. There's a business rule that underlies every access layer object. I'm just going to come back to, oh, sorry. This is not what I meant to do, but errors are human. Les erreurs sont humaines. Désolé. So now what I want to do is create a relationship between the client and the project. So this is the next step that I'm going to do is I want to be able to view which projects belong to which customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a link between client and project. So a client, my second hub would be projects, the type of relationship. So one customer might have many projects. So I'm just specifying the cardinality, the relationship cardinality on here. And I'm just going to create it without load for the moment being. Okay. As you can see, the relationship is there. And I'm going to supply it with a suffix because I forgot to give it a suffix. I'm just going to say client has projects. See how easy it is to get that. And I'm going to populate my link here by doing it in 2 steps. I'm going to create a hub load from my project system table, saying here it's a parent working item. So the parent of a project is a customer. I'll double check if it's unique. It tells me by showing me the screen, oh, the parent working item is not unique in the project table. That's obvious because one customer or one client can have multiple projects. So this is fine with me. I'm just going to review and add the hub load. So it allows me to navigate from client to project or project to client. And I'm just going to refresh the client hub here. So why there are 2 hub loads, depending on the situation here, it allows us to manage orphans. So let's say the project, I'm sorry, let's say the project is being loaded prior to the client. So all of the client keys that are contained within the projects will be loaded here if they do not exist. So it allows us not to have breaking points in the solution. So in here, so I did the client hub load from the project, and I'm just going to say now I want to add a link load, and the client one side is the parent, and it tells me, okay, I see from the project that I can link the 2 together. So I'm going to do an include on that one. And there I go. I'm just going to refresh my data once again. There I go. So now what I want to do is in my dimensional model, I want to change what I did here and I want to add the client name. So I'm just going to go over into my dimensional model, pick it up from there. There I go. I got the project number, the project name, and the status. If I double click on the project, it tells me, oh, you've got a relationship to client. There it is. And in the client, I want to be able to pick up the client name. The client name is located in that particular satellite here. So I'll go and pick up the client name. And I also want to know, okay, from the user, who is the client representative? So I'm just going to navigate to my user and see here, I can go and pick up my manager. So I'll take the employee name, which is, and I can say, let's say client relationship manager. Client relationship manager name. Enter. Here I go. I'm just going to say here save with the check mark. And what does it look like? I can do a preview from here. There I go. This particular project is associated to, these are stars that I use. That's just data up to a star. And the relationship manager is Daniel Rioux. And here on the other project, this is me, and so on. So see how quickly we can build solutions and dimensions from there. And here I'm just going to refresh this. See the SQL that's there. We just added a client relationship manager name, which is the business name that we gave it, and the client name. At the database level, if I'm going back, what I can say is I can only refresh, let's say, the columns, and see the client relationship manager name is there, the client name is there, the status. So I'm able to say, let's say, star, select star from the access layer project, and there I go. So in a nutshell, this is what the speed of development that we're able to do. Also in the data lineage, which is built in the tool, we can see that from the TFS system, I'm pulling up data, TFS client, TFS project, and users, and it tells me, okay, it's associated to a hub, and so on. So we can track all of the data structures and load from this particular, well, the data lineage, I mean, and at the operational level, when I look at the jobs here, what I can do is I can trigger from there and schedule refresh from here, and you'll see that everything is going to get green as the data is being pulled out. There we go. The stage data is there. It's processing the hubs. So all of this has been refreshed. We can also schedule the data refresh from this particular viewpoint here. You could also do your documentation. We could generate documentation from, so it's going to take the most recent modeling and the data lineage to be able to generate documentations. And as far as deployment, you could always export your local environment and integrate this to Git, and you can, do production roll up from this particular option here. So this is the demonstration that we want to show you how quickly we can generate or integrate data and actually focus on the business rules or the business model per se. I'm just going to come back to my presentation. And trust Syntell and Datavault Builder to maximize the value of your data. So Datavault Builder is a product that accelerates the implementation of a modern data warehouse with efficiency, speed, and Syntell is the right partner that accompanies you at every step and every facet of your data enhancement projects. So feel free to contact us either at Datavault Builder or at Syntell. We'll be quite happy to support you in your data warehouse solution. And to finalize the thing here, Peter, if you want to take a few minutes to talk about Deutsche Bahn.
Deutsche Bahn is the railway provider in Germany, and just as one example of our clients, they had the question is, if they spend €1 more on marketing, what will it have an effect on revenue? So they started integrating 2 to 3 data sources, and they got first answers, but they realized they need to integrate more data. What was the plan from the beginning? And over the past 2 years, they added more and more data sources to this centralized data platform, and now they have more 46 different data sources feeding the model. And by the design of the Datavault method and how the Datavault Builder in an agile fashion creates the output, it was never necessary to restart the whole project or recreate something, but they could just add more and more stuff to it. They are now not only able to answer the original question, but as well 119 other questions. And it's not like reporting only, it's as well machine learning or AI models. It can be some Excel interface, it can be anything, because we can create standardized interfaces for different targets.
So that is it for the demonstration. So we're open to any questions that you may have. I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen maybe.
We have a question about Datavault Builders and Syntell's role. We as Datavault Builder are the product vendor, but a great tool is only part of a great solution if you have a partner like Syntell that helps you get your project started, because you need to know about data modeling, you need to know about project management, you need to know how to as well sell this internally to other departments, and that's where an implementation partner helps you with, and not only with the Datavault Builder, but Syntell knows as well about the databases, knows about the reporting tools, and brings our product as a solution to clients. And depending on the wishes, it can be enabling in the beginning, but it can be as well a full service. So maybe, Sylvain, you can say some words about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a great partnership between Datavault Builder and Syntell. And yeah, we are, the focus, like we've been showing you in a couple of slides here, the expertise of Syntell is to bring the knowledge up to the team in terms of data modeling or how to build how to easily build a data warehouse solution and analytical solutions. So our expertise here combined with Datavault Builder technical expertise in data transformation, and they are also quite, knowledgeable. And I appreciate a lot working with Peter and the team there, because in data modeling, there are some issues that by talking together, we come across a great solution for the customer.
So the next question, let me share here my graphic, is Datavault the only type of data warehouse that we can build? I mean, we need to differentiate between the core layer, where we store technically the information always as a data vault, based on the logical and conceptual model. So you're not modeling directly the data vault, because the data vault consists of a lot of tables. You don't want to manually manage them or create them.
That's right.
So we are driving them from the model and are creating the implementation. But on the interface side, on the output side, you can deliver exactly what you need for your recipients. And it can be, in many cases, that is dimensional if you go to the direction of Power BI, Click, or Tableau. But it can be that you need to output instead or additionally for like Cognos or Sub Business Objects, a third normal form model. And it can be, and it's quite often as well with data analysts, that they want to use some Python scripts or something, some data frames, and they want to have completely flat tables. So that's perfectly fine. In this output layer, you can create the level of denormalization that you need for your data consumer and serve all the needs. And what we get as well more and more, which is missing here on my graphic, is that you can create data products too, which is even another level of denormalization. So yes, technically we store it always as data vault, but you don't need to worry. Your recipients of the data will never see that. They receive exactly the information at the level as they need.
Yes. There's another question there. Where do I store the data definition to ensure their integrity and their nature when used?
I'm not 100% sure if I understand the question correctly, but generally, everything which we model and the metadata and the descriptions are creating objects in the database, and they're stored in the database where we process data. So we have tables, we have metadata attached to it, and the data is stored in them. And it's always one unit in one database, and that's why it never gets out of sync. This is what Silva explained very nicely, that we don't have a metadata repository. We have front end. The front end talks directly to the database, stores everything, including the metadata descriptions. And if we look at the database, we see this metadata description, and we want to display it in the tool. It reads it again from the database and displays it. So there's only one version of truth about the metadata. I'm not sure if this answers the question, but otherwise maybe you can rephrase your question a little bit.
And there's also the documentation panel that you can generate documentations off of the model that's generated or managed by the Datavault Builder.
Good. So there is one last question. Where does the Datavault Builder run? It does run where you want it to run. It's cloud native as concept, but you can run it on premises. It is delivered as Docker containers, so you can run it on any cloud provider supporting Docker containers, which is everyone today, I believe. Didn't came across any other cloud providers, but it runs as well on your Linux server. It runs on your Windows desktop. Everywhere where you can install Docker, it will run. And the nice thing is you can switch between the different deployment methods at any point in time, because the tool itself is stateless. So you can stop it on your on-premise installation. You can start it up on your cloud provider, and it will continue running where it stopped off before, because it will connect to the same database and continue running. Good.
All right. Thanks so very much for your participation for this webinar. And we are looking forward to doing business with you. So cloud migration is easy? Yes, it is.
It is. It's by configuration. Yes. And the nice thing as well, what I forgot, which will be in the future, very important as well, migration between cloud providers. Because imagine that then your preferred cloud provider increases pricing or decreases the service level, you can just move it by configuration to a different provider. Thank you a lot for all the attention.
You're very welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Silva. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Peter. It's always a pleasure working with you guys.